critics say Israel does not have a day after plan for Gaza. Is that a fair point?
Well, that's certainly what, let's say, in Israel, there are many, many different political parties. The Israeli Knesset, the parliament, has 120 seats, and it has about 13 or 14 different parties. So I can say that other than Netanyahu's Likud parties in a coalition, pretty much every other party is saying what you just said. What is the day after strategy? What is your vision? Should you bring in the Palestinian Authority to run Gaza? Should you, try and work with some reformed former Hamas people? Should you try to see if Gaza would become once again part of Egypt, which it was before 1967? So I think that Netanyahu is keeping his cards close to his chest. From what I know, a lot of people say Netanyahu's lost it, he's been in power too long, he doesn't have a proper strategy, he's going day to day, he really doesn't have this vision for anything anymore, he should retire, blah, blah, blah. That is the view of many Israelis and many other people. And personally, I think he probably should retire because I don't think it's good for any leader to be in power for too long. But as long as he's the prime minister, I can confidently say that he's no fool, he's a very strategic leader, and I'm sure he has some ideas of what he'd like. I personally think, and it was floated the other day, that what he'd most like to do is have an arrangement with the United Arab Emirates and for Gaza to, in effect, become an outpost, another emirate of the UAE, and to be a prosperous place that looks a little bit like Jared Kushner's AI-generated model of Gaza looking like it's Abu Dhabi or whatever, which, if it really worked and the people of Gaza could really live in such nice places, I'd say go for it. I mean, who doesn't want to live in nice new blocks and so on? But I'm not suggesting it can come about, but I think Netanyahu would probably like Gaza to have a government, maybe run by a Gazan like Mohammed Dahlan, who is in exile in Abu Dhabi. What Israel would like is a government in Gaza that doesn't want to fire rockets at Israel. There are extremists on the right in Israel that want to occupy Gaza and settle Jews again, but these are maybe 2 or 3% of the population. I think the mainstream view of Israelis is they absolutely do not want to go into Gaza at all, and they just don't want, which is one reason Israel left Gaza in 2006. So I think that it's very hard to achieve, but if you really did have a something like Dubai in Gaza, there's natural gas off the coast of Gaza, the Palestinian population is fairly well educated, fairly skilled, they're engineers and so on, and they're good builders, as we see with all these tunnel networks. So there's no reason that Gaza has got a very good stretch of the Mediterranean coast. There's no reason that Gaza shouldn't be a fairly prosperous place as long as it's got a government there that doesn't then want to fight a jihad against Israel and conquer Israel. Israel doesn't want that, clearly. And, it could be like a little Dubai or a little Singapore. I suspect that is what Netanyahu might want. There are others, let's say on the street, that are very angry with the whole population of Gaza because of the October 7 attack, and they just like Gazans to go and live in Egypt or somewhere else, just as there are people in Gaza that would like all Israelis to go and live back in Iraq or Poland or wherever. But I don't think either of these options is, a possibility at all. The population of Gaza is going to stay in Gaza. The population of Israel is going to stay in Israel. So to be honest, I think the best situation is to have something like a little Dubai in Gaza, where the Muslim Brotherhood are not allowed to operate, just like they're not allowed to operate in Dubai, i.e. Hamas. But most people are happy because it's a fairly prosperous place. And,